A-level business theories, the Blake Mouton Managerial Grid. Robert Blake and Jane Mouton developed this theory in 1964, and it considers the focus of managers when leading an organisation, whether it's on people or on tasks. This differs from Tannenbaum-Schmidt, who focused more on the power and the level of decision making between managers and subordinates. The first thing they considered was how much focus a leader may have on the task. So therefore, do they have really clear plans and objectives, strategies and processes that they're trying to actually fulfill? You could think about this as one great big planning book on its most extreme, where they're following corporate plans, following really detailed steps and processes, using critical path analysis to plan to the nth degree the processes involved, and having very clear aims and objectives which are being measured in terms of measuring success. The other spectrum is people. How much a manager, a leader, is focused on people when leading an organisation. Richard Branson very famously questioned the idea of consumer sovereignty, about consumers being king, and ultimately the fact they should come first within any organisation. Branson championed the fact that employees are the most important stakeholders, with the logic being happy employees mean happy customers, which ultimately mean happy shareholders. While this suggests a focus on people is important, obviously there are times when focusing on the people but not the task can be counterproductive. This is The Office. I suggest you go and watch it if you haven't seen it. So Blake Mouton generated a grid which scales from 0 to 9 in terms of the focus on task and the focus on people, as shown here, and identified 5 points where a leader may be. The first of these was with a high level of focus on task but very low focus on people. If you like, if we use the axes, it's 9-1, and this is referred to as produce or perish. A style that you might associate with this is a military style, where actually there's very clear tasks, very clear objectives that are trying to be achieved, but actually the focus is not very much on the staff or their particular well-being. Often this style is appropriate whenever there's some form of crisis, where action needs to be taken quickly. A really autocratic and clear style of leadership needs to be adopted. You can link this really nicely with Douglas McGregor, who suggests that this style is very much Theory X, where the leader gives very little respect to employees and doesn't necessarily want to involve them as they don't feel that they actually want to be involved anyway. Equally, Maslow might suggest this is a failure of needs. In terms of motivation, it's pretty low down. Even Herzberg suggests there's no motivators here. One who would be happy, of course, would be Fred Taylor, who suggests that employees are like cogs in a machine, and so actually this hard approach to HR is appropriate. The second approach is what's called impoverished. This is where there's no focus on tasks, there is no focus on people. Essentially, the leader's abdicated. There's no clear pathway, there's no strategies moving forward, and the employees aren't seen as being important. We, in this case, don't have a leader, we don't even have a manager. In fact, even Taylor would like this, there is no machine. In essence, you could say here that our leaders are very much hiding under the table. They don't want to get involved, they're worried perhaps of their own job security, so therefore they don't instigate any new tasks, any new plans and strategies, because if they go wrong, they'll be the ones held to account. This is definitely an area you don't want to be, and this is business which may be likely to fail. In our top corner, we now have a high focus on people, but a low focus on tasks, and this is called the country club style. So called because really the focus is on staff only, with no real plans and strategies in place. No meaningful work is done. The manager may be very focused on looking after the team, but not really on any level of productivity. Again, this is not going to be a really productive area to be. Maslow would suggest social needs are being met, but it's not an interesting job. Herzberg won't be impressed, and Taylor will be pulling his hair out. These are cogs in the machine. Why are we spending so much time on them when we're not getting on with the job? Our fourth approach is the one that maybe we should be aspiring to. It's where we have a high focus on tasks, and highly productive, and we have a focus on people. It's 9-9, it's in the top right hand corner, and it's called team leader. This could be very transformational. Certainly we've been in a position at 1-9, we may find ourselves in strategic drift, and this is where that transformational leader may come in. They can be a really strong leader and certainly in charge. They have a focus on everything going on. It may be the fact, McGregor, we're thinking now more theory Y. The employee is being heavily involved, but actually we've got a real clear strategy and ideas moving forward. An innovative company that wants to progress and perhaps lead this market. Even Maslow may say we're approaching the top of the tree. Dare I say, self-actualization could be happening. And Herzberg will see both hygiene and motivator back. Taylor again will be pleased with the fact we've got some tasks we're actually producing, but maybe seeing it as a soft approach that certainly he didn't believe in. The final position that Blake Mouton identified was the middle of the road. Now the middle of the road isn't safe. Well, maybe it is safe, but certainly it's not going to set the world alight. This is where our leader is going to be making some compromises in terms of how the organisation is run. They won't be focusing fully on the task, as they're worried about doing so may actually detract from the staff and their well-being, and equally, they won't focus fully on people as they want to get the task done. Probably a weak leader, and actually this is not a great place to be. Now the key thing to remember is that actually a really high quality leader won't necessarily always sit on one style. There'll be times where actually, certainly in times of high pressure, where a more produce or perish approach will be appropriate. Not perhaps in the bottom left, but maybe slightly less focus on people and really pushing a task home. Certainly time critically, that could be important. There will equally be times when the employees are highly stressed, where there's time to actually move back from the left, back down the scale, less focus on tasks, but keeping focus on people. However, generally you want to be in that top right corner. So that is the Blake Mouton Grid.